but tip if you can is appreciated, and blah blah blah. We have a physical tip. We have a physical tip jar here, and you can tip electronically. There's signs around the place. What else? What was that?
That's an acoustic tip jar?
Yeah, here's the acoustic tip jar. Hello.
It's an organic tip jar.
Don't
what else
find
I
the
got?
ashes in it, okay?
So I got this. Remember the Panera? Everybody knows there's snacks in the other room. Remember Panera, the restaurant Panera?
Yeah. The metal
Do you
jar?
remember Panera Cares? Panera Cares was a division of the restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Does anybody know Panera Cares?
No.
I do. Nobody knows Panera Cares.
Nobody cares.
Okay. That's the problem. Panera Cares was, they did these restaurants around the country. The one here in Metro Detroit was in West Dearborn.
Yep, I used to go there.
And let's see how you did there. You paid what you wanted. You could pay nothing. The concept with those who could afford to pay more would cover the people who couldn't pay, you know. Of course, most people are selfish dicks, and so it failed. Of course, West Dearborn didn't have a large population of hungry people who need it.
Yeah.
But I would like to think that we as a group are not a microcosm of the bigger demographic. And if we can afford to give a little more to somebody who can't, tip a little extra for the arts here. The arts are under attack from AI and your right-wing wackadoodles. And my interpretation of that, the best AI in the world, the best song, it can sound like that, the best painting, the best written word, but it'll never be art because art you need to see that it came from somebody's mind and thought, and it's not, you can't repeat that with an algorithm or computer. I'd like to see that somebody, even if they didn't live that, they had the thoughts to come up with that, and that cannot be replaced by the technology. I had more crap to say, but we're going to have Kurt start us off.
We'll
here.
go ahead and kick us off. All right. Good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Morning. All right, let's start off with a little poem about death.
Hey, why not?
All right, this one's called The Animal Soup of Time. Crawling up rocks on the other shore, we are silent as we huddle. On the damp, mossy ground, then we turn our heads, eyes agape, staring in complacent terror at the swift and swollen steel gray water behind us. No more rivers to cross. Forever away from the prison of skin and dreams. We turn towards the pulsating forest and collectively draw our last breath. It's a song that sings eternal. We lose our eyes as we enter and nakedly snake past the trees, forever cleansed of the curse of the 9 holes. Speaking of death, I wrote this. I'll let you figure out what day I wrote it. This one's titled November 8th, Blood Moon Eclipse Election Day. Voting is porn sex. Your lips purse in silent disapproval while the ballot cock goes in the stoic slot. Your eyes fixed at the abyss of fluorescent lighting. It's all theater. It's always been theater. Which painted puppet on stage is the prettiest? All right.
No water breaks.
Water break. What is this?
It's a
Amazon?
non-union gig.
Come on, man. Oh man! And of course, I chose the hottest day of the year to go car shopping to make a deal with the devil. That's some poetry right there.
There's something there.
Something there, man. Speaking of the devil, this one's called Random Gods. I read somewhere that it would take 1 billion years for 6 monkeys at 6 typewriters to maybe, just maybe, pound out 1 Shakespeare play. Now I ask, what would come of 6 human beings on 6 computers, intensely and intently creating for 1 billion years? We'll still only be decorating the rut of utter meaninglessness. 1 billion Big Bangs equals 1 breath of Vishnu. All right, now here's one that involves one of the most celebrated topics in poetry. This one is entitled
Lost.
It All Comes Down to the Sex.
Right? I didn't know where it was going.
Yeah, this was not choreographed. We are wrapped up like two lightning strikes that come together and pierce through the center of a Boschian landscape. Our hands as boat anchors until the climax. Then they become angry robin claws that vie for backyard bread, reaching for the post-coital cigarettes, the wine glass, the cell phone, the front door. All right. So these next couple of poems come from a couple years ago. I had a nice debate with a person who has a master's in literature, and we were talking about James Joyce, and we were talking about his seminal work, Ulysses. Ulysses is a very fine book if you have 3 years and a whole library of reference material to read it. And I told him, I was like, I've gotten more insight from a haiku than I had the entirety of a James Joyce novel. So we kind of bantered back and forth, but
Was that yawn built into the?
I was like, so you know what? I'm gonna go write some haikus. So here's some haikus for you. You ready? All right. Where do we come from? Attraction and repulsion. Nothing more than that. No wonder I'm sad. City life takes the magic away from the moon. In November, trees show their true selves. They prep their branches for snow. I don't fret about the din of the modern world. There's tea in my cup. There's no life in God. Churches are tombs with stained glass. I bow to rivers. For what is one life? A story thrown into fires, waves kissing the sand. And finally, only by cutting can the fall peonies be transformed into art. All right, now it's time for a sip of water. Don't make any more Amazon jokes. All right. This one's called Urban Squalor. Languishing in the hell of sterile, predictably protracted moments, nestled in the centrifuge of the superego. I long for the hum of a westbound train and the smiles of farm fences in the sunset. That's it. Keep them short and sweet. All right, this is a poem about hangovers. I used to have a lot of them.
Most of us can relate to that.
Finally, awake, eye wells as funnel clouds, an above ground swimming pool on my chest. After being a slave to the label for 2 decades, my skin is like Pennsylvania barn paint. Last night's laughter is now being waterboarded in Abu Ghraib. Take a sip from the Gatorade bottle that I forgot I peed in.
True story.
Alcohol. What starts as a Roman orgy ends in a Greek tragedy. I shuffle to the sink to rinse out the damnation apparatus. And I think about how Mara builds the temples we use for liberation. The irony of it. Now, all I have left is a trembling hand to gesture downwards to the bathroom tiles. This is the hub of the wheel, the place where space and time dissipate. Narcissus hangs himself with Indra's net.
That was a nicely timed crack of the can there.
Again, that was not choreographed. That was not premeditated. For most of my 20s and 30s, this next poem, I used to drink and then walk a lot. That was one of my favorite things. I'd like close up the old tavern and be like, all right, well, it only takes about an hour, hour and a half to get home. Let's just rock this out. And I had my Sony Walkman, you know, and I put in like that album that he's got on his shirt over there, some Coltrane or some Miles Davis kind of blue or some Prodigy, you know, all that stuff. We try to keep it jazz. Anyways, this poem is called Nocturne of the Soul. Midnight in the downtown rain, I ask, what is the momentum of the mundane? The inertia of idleness. Fuck the machine. What about the ghost in the attic of apathy? Why this phantasmagoria of avenues of stoplights and the angry blur of shop windows? As I stumble past, half-empty flask in hand, I try and melt through the bricks that encrust the pubs, and I ask, what is this silent sparring between strangers on rickety bar stools or in the caverns of lounge booths? What is the quantum mechanics of loneliness? How many electrons are there in the size between sips of well whiskey? How many more sad waltzes are going to ooze out of that music machine in the corner? A sloppy woman at last call told me, you're a Gemini, a messenger. That's your curse. So I took her to bed, and I haven't done anything worth a shit since. All right, so this, in the vein of one of my favorite writers, his name was Fernando Pessoa, who's Portuguese. He had a prolific amount of material that no one really knew about. Most of his writing came out when they discovered a chest, this huge, not even bigger than a footlocker, of all of his writing, and they just pieced it all together. And he went by a lot of personas or a lot of aliases. He had a lot of different nom de plumes or nom de guerre that he would use. And so I've adopted that philosophy a little bit, and this is one of the many poems I have written by my alter ego and spiritual advisor. His name is Rishi Stonecrane. Satori is knowing that every pine tree around a mountain is in its perfect place, and the divine is in the cement that keeps their needles close to the branch, so they can perpetually scrape the cool air. I am witness to this noble exchange. Want some more haikus? I got them right here. Yeah? All right, yeah, let's rock some of these out. Let's see. She whispered to me, pleasure is a form of death, one drip at a time. When the river slows, autumn coughs up gold flakes, dust collects on books. There is no fairness. The bones of the sick are strewn in front of wolves' dens. The war ghost whispered, sometimes, even in the spring, leaves fall to the ground. Cold and heat are one. A shy woman's smile shows this as she walks away. In the forest now, walking through the dreams of trees, a cardinal screams. Good job.
For you, Brad.
Don't kill you.
And the last one, go beyond concepts. My religion has no name. River in winter. Let's see, a few more here. Another one by my alter ego, Rishi Stonecrane. Wrote this in Mara's house, actually. Every inch of earth, a temple. Every face in this world, a god. In the pantheon of the great mystery. Every season, a reminder that we're here to learn from change and nothing more. All right, this one is pretty self-explanatory. It's called The River Leith in 750 milliliter increments. The whiskey will never take you home again, but you'll fly by it night after night, bar after dismal bar. And you can never run away from your shadow, even when you want to more than ever. And those cement shoes you put on every morning, will only take you lower and lower and lower and lower. Let's get another sip of Molotov. Let's give it up for Jim again for having us out. Thanks again for making this happen. I appreciate it. Thank you. This is great. All right. This one's called "It's a Privilege to Be the Bearer of Bad Tidings." Eating is merely one sensation of the marriage between soil and sun, and the 10,000 tastes it produces. Sight is but a sliver of the phenomenon. Our thoughts, too. And with those come 10,000 ways to wallow in slow death amid 10,000 flowers and 10,000 tones of laughter, along with 10,000 hands on 10,000 knives.
Got a couple more, Kurt.
I got two more.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah, I timed this out.
Okay.
There is no deviating from the norm. All is interdependent. There is no escaping samsara. Nirvana eventually leads one back to the world of opposites. There is no justice to be found in a universe that creates mosquitoes or testosterone or subjective morality. We are here to experience firsthand the pain of the evolutionary process. That is our purgatorio and ad infinitum. I'm going to close out this set with a poem about something I hope we all get to experience on a daily basis. This is just called "We Love." We love until all the birds of the world unroost and fall silent. We love until our bones spread to the four winds and become a vacuum. We love until our breaths go supernova and haunt the night skies. We love until the stars devour each other, until time itself is laid to rest. Thank you.
So I think you might go ahead. Teddy, do you want to go right into it?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, look, right as the storm is coming in. Look at that.
Perfect. This is perfect. Oh, so I'm Teddy.
Hello.
This first poem, this is the first time anybody else has heard it, so hey. I will keep it simple. Power to the people. You can keep your bigots. Power to the people.
Who's that? The guy's gonna get blown away.
Oh, there's somebody out there?
He's coming, he's coming. He's grabbing his stuff.
Hold on.
He's coming.
This way, this way.
Is there children out there too, or?
I know. Do you have enough light? Oh, I do. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm only going to do 3 pieces, and they're kind of all different, so this is just, that's as far as my nerves can take me. So, okay. So, I will keep it simple. Power to the people. You can keep your bigots. Power to the people. You can keep your hatred. Power to the people. They got us looking at each other, left and right. Got us sorting our neighbors, like their laundry, into black and white. They got us hungry, angry, lonely, tired. The air too dirty to breathe, too thick to perspire. But do you remember, did you hear Atmosphere plucking his strings and sing 18 years ago? The only guarantee in life is a worth life dying for. So look up, not back, not left, not right. This is a class war, and we have to fight. So I will keep it simple. Our love will kill their hate. Because the power is with it. Jim, I did not know that your house provides so many side effects.
Isn't it? Wow. That was crazy.
It was great. Okay. Now, this next poem is like a little ode to a life that was cut short, way too short, at 19 years old, in a very, very tragic way. And I wrote this poem for his grandma, whom I met when she lost her son, like 20, 15 years ago. So, and this was me trying to provide her the support that she gave me back at that time. And she's a devout Christian, and I'm not. So this was also a way of connecting and making, like, joining that love for this person. And, wow. Okay.
You got
Kurt,
the power.
you and I, we started out on a death note.
Sorcery.
Just as the light of the sun and the moon and the stars travels the journey to us from afar, so is your soul still shining so bright here on earth, in the place that you are, free to roam, free of wrongs, a place that is just. We'll miss you forever as you rejoin the stardust. And on a lighter note, we're gonna end up with a ridiculous story, you guys.
All right.
So here we go. I promised whimsy, here's some whimsy. She was on the run. There was no going back now, and she had to find a spot to hide, get some water, and make a new plan. Earlier this week, the stupid Eliza Ruby had found the pearly stash of the crow that lived in the same zoo as she did. Now, you can't expect much from a beetle on the sunniest of days. They didn't get Zout's a full brain hand to begin with, but this time, Eliza Ruby had taken the cake and the cake topper to boot. Why does a ladybug need a cake topper? I have no idea. Eliza Ruby has no idea either, but she found her shiny pearls, rolled them out of the crow's nest, and stashed them in an old rotten log she occasionally used as her vacation home. However, the crow had sussed her out. He was now out flying and scanning around for his stolen goods, and the complimentary snack he felt he was due for his trouble. Eliza Ruby truly was stupid, and now she was also so thirsty. The sun was scorching in her face. She was blinded to the predators in the skies above, and she was also very thirsty. Eliza knew there was a river that always ran clear and bubbly right by her log. I guess she was smart enough to know that a waterfront property has maximum vacation value after all. Eliza was parched. Her wings weren't able to carry her anymore, so she set off on foot to find her little oasis that housed the most beautiful pearls she had ever seen. As Eliza marched on and on, trudging forward in search of the guaranteed happiness that awaited her, she found herself lost in Hyderabad. The city was slick and full of color, but that color wasn't food for aphids, and Eliza started to realize that she was getting hungry as well. The smells which wafted out of restaurant doors, steaming spices luring young and old inside, were unfamiliar to her. The lights danced, the people danced, and Eliza realized she was now the safest she could ever be from the crow, but this loud and cold world was no safer for a tiny little ladybug like herself. No sooner had she been ambushed by these thoughts in her newly brilliantly illuminated head when Eliza Ruby was unceremoniously stepped on by some human or another. Stupid Eliza Ruby never figured out what made those pearls so special. She never laid eggs, and for all intents and purposes, she lived a truly useless life. I hope the crow finds his pearls someday.
Good work.
If I don't get you back, I'll die. But you can't look me in the eye. If I could buy back every bad thing that I said, but I'm left here all alone instead. Across pass again in Memphis, some random city street. You said, ain't it funny where you go and the people who you meet? I didn't show much interest, so you didn't push too strong. You were off to get with someone, you couldn't talk for long. If I don't get you back, I'll die. But you can't look me in the eye. If I could buy back every bad thing that I said, but I'm left here all alone instead. Second thought, I best leave you alone. accident and bad decision prone. If I could buy back every bad move that I made, and leaving when I knew I should have stayed. You ended up in Macon with a lawyer and a cat. You still send me a Christmas card, and hey, I appreciate that. I tried to be objective, we all have our paths to choose. I left you in Seattle with everything to lose. Cut my finger open today, and it's bleeding a little bit. So it's,
That wasn't just now.
might get a little
That was
nasty.
earlier.
Sorry about your carpet, Jim. It's not good.
You by yourself?
But I got a Band-Aid here if I need it, so I might, we'll see how it goes if it gets worse. Anyway, what's all the fuss about? It's the blood. Got a rubber coat to keep away the rain. You got a pair of earplugs so when you hear my name, but it ain't enough to keep the noises out. It ain't enough to quell that aching doubt. It ain't enough to justify whatever the fuss is about. Now you're falling apart, and you put your mule behind the cart. Now you're falling apart. You told your mama you're fine, but she knows you aren't, because she's seen it before at least 100 times. She's heard all the stories and the warning signs. It ain't enough to justify whatever the fuss is about. What the fuss is about? Well, it's a little premature for goodbye. What the fuss is about? I think you got another try. Well, it ain't enough to keep the noises out. It ain't enough to quell that aching doubt. Now you're sailing away, and you talked yourself into going today. No one's gonna blame you for tapping out. We'll see you again, and that's no doubt. Believing in the answer to whatever the fuss is about. The fuss is about. Well, it's a little premature for goodbyes. What the fuss is about? I think I got another try. Well, no one's gonna blame you for tapping out. We'll see you again, and that's no doubt.
Yeah.
Looks like we got a full-blown power outage now.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see if it comes back.
Well done with the
It's all right.
We're too hot.
Hey. I got a face made for radio anyway. All right, well, I can't really do my finger picking stuff, I guess. But we heard a poem earlier about a hangover, so I'm going to do a song about a hangover. And this is a song about a hangover that I had in Cleveland, Ohio, in 2014. Playing chicken with a blind man on the streets of Cleveland. Well, my head is hurting so bad, it's a wonder I can even walk. We managed to get this far without a major pitfall, and it's a wonder how we managed to get anywhere at all. Alex would have liked to, and Scurvy said he's proud, and I might have heard the sound guy if we weren't so fucking loud. Well, they weren't exactly lining up around the block in droves, but we almost pulled it off as far as anybody knows. Well, who's got dibs on green coat, and who will ride it back? And who's got those drink tickets, cause that's all we're getting paid. I can't imagine giving up what I'll tell my mom. I can't let go of the 2 times in my life I've been betrayed. Alex would have liked to, and Scurvy said he's proud, but everything just sounds the same. You guys are too damn loud. Well, I'll listen under protest from someone in your clothes, cause we almost looked the part as far as anybody knows. If I could bottle my regrets and sell them off to my house guests, and just sit back and count my profits. Keep your feelings to yourself. I got nothing left to sell, till I got nothing left to sell. Well, I'll sit in somewhere sideways and just wait to be forgot, cause I'm spending time getting by and tossing off the lot. Alex would have liked to, and Scurvy said he's proud, and the singer for the next band is beyond a little proud. Well, listen to me quietly for my deathbed before I leave. Just go and get 'em, Tiger, if that's what you believe. Alright guys, I got a record out and it came out in September. It's called Dynamite Alley, and it's named after an episode of the TV cop show Chips. Nice! And it's the Dune Buggy episode, if you're familiar with that one, season 3. And was it 2?
They have a good punk rock episode.
I'm just thinking that's pretty bad if you know what seasons.
Pain, was it Pain?
And anyhow, I'm going to do a couple songs off that, and this song here is called I Didn't Want to Break Your Heart.
So about that.
Well, I can see where this is going. Maybe I should walk away. The signs are pointing westward. Today is the day. I'll meet you for a coffee around about 6 o'clock. I'll ease into it gently, but baby, we gotta have that talk. I didn't want to break your heart, but that's what I'm gonna do. is over, all the time you'll have. That car we bought together, well, you can keep my half. And you can sell off all my records and give your brother my guitars. I'm also ditching those wasted dreams of being a star. I didn't want to break your heart, but that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna break it in two. I'm gonna break it in two. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna break it in two. And with a little bit of time and a little bit of luck, you'll see it pays to never give up. You're gonna find somebody who's a better fit. He's gonna love my records and give you a kid. I didn't want to break your heart, but that's exactly what I did. I'm gonna break it in two. It's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna break it in two. I don't know what that is.
It's a lonesome chord. That's what I like.
It's like a G47th, 87th,
Yeah.
3rd, flat minor, diminished, suspended, 23rd or something.
That is correct.
All right, another one off the record, and this here is a mariachi murder ballad. It is. And it's called My Angelito Baby and Me. My bonita, when I left you this morning, you had a yellow ribbon in your hair, and you were off to see your sister in San Pedro and visit your mother while you're there. Your lips and your words, they spoke a message as I walked you to the back of your door. And maybe you'll be an esposo, and que esta tarde mi amor. I wondered where this lovely day might take you. I wondered who else you had to see, because your lips and your words, they spoke a message, and it was not an easy one to believe. So I picked up my Angelito baby, I followed you to see where you could go. Maybe you'll be an esposo, esta tarde mi amor. Donde puesta mi pieza, my love, where did you go? Donde puesta mi pieza, que estás pensando. But you were not heading to the sea. Oh, my bonita, I wanted to believe you. You were a traición en sí. Found you in the arms of your lover. Como pueste esto hacia mí. Our Angelito baby, he was sleeping, and I was grateful that he didn't have to see. They found your bloody bodies the next morning. A crime of passion they could clearly see. So now we live the lives of outlaws, my Angelito baby and me. So now we live the lives of outlaws, my Angelito baby and me. Donde puesta mi pieza, my love, castanets. Jim, don't encourage it.
They're Killians.
Well, there's water bottle.
Will those lamps last? Because the last guys you said might need them.
I guess we're all going to Moe's.
They'll last? Okay.
We got a headlamp.
I gave him a headlamp.
A headlamp?
Yeah, I
And
gave
will
him a
the
headlamp.
lunker hang?
We can absolutely do it.
That'll look cool.
My car's like
Hey, Mo.
Felix's garbage bag. I have everything in it.
There's a good chance if I can't read my own writing, I'll get better.
There you go. Some stream of consciousness stuff, right? Fucking Michigan.
All right, this is another one off my record, and this is a song that I wrote for a friend of mine, and she lives in Indiana, and she's a bit of a mess, but she's got a daughter that she loves more than anything. And I never met her daughter, but I wrote this song about her daughter, and it's called Lucy. Your mama means well, even though she gets off track. She's got a gleam in her eye when she says your name, and that's a fact. She's got 100 different reasons why she can't be there on time, but even from a distance she'll make sure you're fine. Lucy, your mama's as stubborn as a blood on cotton stain. Well, she's a master of deception when she's in the greatest pain. But Lucy, your mama's as tough as a brick wall in the rain. You might get the sense that there's something wrong, but you won't hear her complain. Lucy, don't get lost in your mama's tears. The day somebody takes your heart away, grateful for the love, and she's thankful for the years. She knows that you can't forever stay. Well, there has to be a reason, but she never told me why. She went and named you Lucy in the sky. Now everybody smiles as you drift on past the flowers. Oh, so incredibly high. Oh, so incredibly high. Oh, so incredibly high. Thanks, guys. That was Lucy. And this is a new one here. This song is called Why You Gotta Make This Easy. Why you gotta chase them boys around? Why you gotta give your name? Why you gotta mock this piece I found when you're looking for the same? Looking for the same. Why you gotta let your phone on silent? Hide away from me. Why you gotta get all mad and violent? Why you gotta make this easy? Why you gotta make this easy? Why you gotta make this easy when I tear your world apart? Why you gotta make it fun to break your heart? Why you gotta play with razor blades just to test my weary eyes? Why you gotta play that grand charade? Never compromise, never compromise. Why you gotta make this easy as I tear your world apart? We knew it was a nightmare from the start. But why you gotta make it fun to break your heart? Now the cat's out of the bag. Tell your friends you had it bad. You ain't one to brag, but I ain't the best you had. take so long just to walk out that front door? Why you gotta move like that when you know I can't ignore? You know I can't ignore. Why you gotta go and make me want you more? Oh shit. Why you gotta go and make me want you more? Why you gotta go and make me want you more?
Sweet.
That's all right, I brought it back up 1 second. Do a couple more, Jim, that all right?
Yeah, a few more.
And he would go out in the woods and he would, every day he'd bring my mom home a little gift of some sort of a dead animal or another. He'd find a nest of rabbits, he'd bring a little baby dead rabbit home to her every day, whatever was the flavor of the day. My mom got tired of the carnage, so she put a big bell on his neck. And that slowed him down for about a day and a half, and then the killing resumed. And he got in a fight with a fox and he won.
Wow.
And yeah, he was cool. And so I wrote a song about him. This song here is called Josh. His name was Josh and he did what he did. He loved to chase them mice and give them hell. He was skinny and white, just like me, but a little fried, all thanks to me. He had balls and swagger and a collar with a bell. Well, they never even heard him coming, and it's probably just as well. In the tall grass you could hear the devil now. Come on. Joshy had some friends, and most of them were cats. One was Good Time Charlie, and one was Max. He outlived them all because he lived by the seat of his pants, and he never even gave that dog a second glance. Well, he never heard him coming. Josh was on the way, bring home something new and dead most every day. Well, he never had the time to dice or drink or horse. Lay that dead thing down right on my mama's floor. One day Josh got chased around a cedar tree by a big old mean red fox, and Old White was all he could see. But he lived to tell about it and to fight another day. But he never really walked or acted quite the same way. One day Josh just didn't come home. Somewhere there's a field where he still roams. He's just waiting for my mom to let him in.
I know Kelly wants to hear Wedding Day.
Wedding Day? Alright, I can do that. I probably haven't played that since the last time I played it for you.
I love that.
Probably a couple, 2 or 3 more.
Sure. We'll do that. This guitar has not been out of the case for a while. and this humidity is not helping.
Yeah, I imagine so.
It's all right though. We're good.
If ever you need that, you can get people's attention with the bell.
Oh, I thought that made the humidity go away. All right. I got me a rock and roll band here in town, and we're called the Tucos, and some of these songs are from that band, and this tune here is from our first record. It's called Wedding Day. It's no interrogation and you're not on trial. Did you whisper my name as you walked down that aisle? For just a moment, did you think of me? Were you taken back to 1993? We were making up stories, we were making out, and you were pretty sure, but I had my doubts. We said goodbye, you said it really burned, but today it seems that the tables have been turned. But did you think about me on your wedding day? We focused on the moment, not far away. And did you shed a little tear after all these years as you threw away your bouquet? Did you think about me on your wedding day? You said I'm not the best singer, but you like my voice. Flaking out has always been my career of choice. I'm charming to the last, but at last we'll see who's looking in from outside alone and lonely. But did you think about me on your wedding day? Focused on the moment, not far away. And did you shed a little tear after all these years as you threw away your bouquet? Think about me on your wedding day. And on the sidewalk outside your favorite bar, said let's go to my house, we could take my car. I know it's cool, but it's not that far. Did you think about me on your wedding day? You're focused on the moment, not far away. And did you shed a little tear after all these years as you threw away your bouquet? Did you think about me on your wedding day? Did you think about me on your wedding day? Did you shed a little tear after all these years? Thank you.
Before you end on a positive, upbeat note, Keely has a request
What's that?
for letters of rehab.
Oh boy. Okay, we'll do that and then we'll do Huck and then we'll call it. How's
Okay.
that? Is that good?
That works.
People will be jumping off the bridge. I haven't done this one in a long time. She may have cried last time I played.
She did.
No greater compliment to a songwriter than making someone cry.
We're hoping Killian's not gonna cry. There's a different kind of crying.
Hey, I'll take what I can get. I'm cool with that.
Put him in.
All right. some idea. I sent you letters in rehab, give them to you the next day. After they'd opened and read them, seen what I had to say, was allowed to visit on Tuesdays, and on Fridays I'd sneak in your dorm. Sometimes they'd catch me and kick me out on account of your being reformed. Send you letters in rehab and give them to you the next day with the name of your favorite song. You'll be home before your birthday. Your mama just wanted the best for you, and she was sure that you'd find it in there. We had plans that could wait until springtime, and I wasn't going nowhere. So I checked off the days on my calendar as the city began to thaw. You threw me notes from your window while your roommate made sure no one saw. Send you letters in rehab, and each one would end the same way with the name of your favorite song. You'll be home before your birthday. You said all the right things, you put on the right face. You let them believe that you fully embrace, but you're nobody's fool and you just want to go. As long as the days seem the nights pass twice as slow. Threw you one hell of a party on the day that they let you come home. We didn't make it through summer before we went ways of our own. I sent you letters in rehab, and each one would end the same way with the name of your favorite song. Thank you, and thanks Jim for having me always. Thanks to all the great poets here tonight, and a lot more to come. And yeah, tip these guys, and they're on the road, and buy their books. And it's my last song. My name's Jeremy. I'm in town. I got records and CDs. If anyone's interested, and if you're local, I'm playing at Outer Limits in August. I'm doing a show. Buddy of mine from Georgia's coming up, and that's going to be on Thursday.
Is that a solo show or band show?
Solo show,
Thursday.
3 solo guys.
Okay.
And, yeah, so come on out. And again, that's, supporting the touring guys. And
another good tip is go up and compliment the performers if you really like their set. They like feedback, right? They like money too, but feedback is good.
all right, guys, this is my last
Jimmy's
song.
rolling his eyes.
The song here is called Huckleberry. Huckleberry, you can be my Clementine. That's a funny way to put it. Why don't you just come inside? If I look into the future, if I show you what I see, if I show up at the last minute, will there be anything left for me? Everybody said you're hard to get to. Everybody said you're looking fine. We can take that up over breakfast. Come with me, my little Clementine. Everybody said I'm acting dumb. Everybody said you're just too young. We can sail across the ocean, find ourselves lost at sea. If you could be my Clementine, I'll be your Huckleberry. You can look to your famous daddy. You can even ask him what you do. You can even ask your boyfriend. You can't come along with you. You can take the high road sometimes. Nothing there to talk about. I got nothing but all the time now. Get your pretty little answers out. To get your pretty little answers out. It's a fool who looks for logic in the chambers of the human heart. But I got you all figured out now. In my mind, and that's a start. All I need is your little face to be in front of me. You could be my Clementine. You could be my Clementine. I'll be your Huckleberry. I'll be your. I'll be your. I'll be your Huckleberry.
Okay, we're gonna have a short break and then we'll get back to the spoken word with Autumn, James, Daryl, and Jimmy.
This one is called Butcher. An incision over the sternum, firm but jelly-like, porous, butter-colored fat, as the knife glides through to seamlessly separate. The breasts fall into each armpit, as the loss of connection reveals a firm layer of cartilage covering the manubrium. It's a clean slice. The roaring red dragon beneath fights against his cage, pumping and kicking against each rib, offbeat, as the butcher's intention is to kill. To smooth into the conventional 4x4 measure one dissonant singer, seeking purity. Oh, the dragon would rather choose to die. Electric, fire, ice. A pause in the music. Silence. A round of applause from the pre-med, gauze glistening over blue latex claws of Dr. Thurman, covered in blood, smiling ear to ear, stunning white veneers, peering into his mouth a portal, upside down now, through the heart of the earth. On the Indian subcontinent, a local farmer sells Arjuna to heal arrhythmia, and the djembe beats like jazz. Thank you. This one's called User. The spiritual path is not a horror. You cannot trick her into opening her legs. She is not parched, seeking the water of your lies, as if you could lie. Truly, she is a woman with a straight gaze and hobbies, not noticing you, until circling round her, opening the door with your eyes lowered, she smiles. called Dive. A sound like a shotgun as he splashed into the pool, and the mushroom cloud of water rising in his wake. Dan knew how to navigate the sanitized religion of swim, tearing into liquid surface tension with sharpened hands, his goggles like the blinders on a racehorse, neon orange earplugs to boot, deaf and blind, climbing through. And so when, this time, like an anchor dropped by veteran seamen, he did not rush up to the surface, nobody noticed the backup pair of plastic goggles still hanging daintily in his locker. Nobody expected some deep ocean of the unmet. Nobody checked the water to see if Dan was dead. This is called Banal. Oh, it's pathetically boring, like a car part or a medical exam. Wow, how fast. Ooh, dissection of a fetal pig. We all have an X or Y, the end of the story displayed in bright letters. I can't be bothered to milk a stranger and expect kundalini. No, the meat is further up the body. No, not that source of milk either. The only gold in the blood red center. So when he unintentionally, accidentally grazes my hand, it's electric. And when you ask to fuck, pathetic. That's it. This is called How Do You Want It? I, in the deepest annals of my being, do not want one moment's length of peace. Oh no, I never want to sleep, hands blistered and hardened and calloused, from punching and screaming and singing and never thinking, always going, never stopping to wonder where you are or question who I am. I want incessant turmoil. I want vibrant, uncomfortable contact. I want to forget where I am. No, that doesn't matter, because if I never stop, I always go. I'll never neglect to do what I have to do. There will not be a second that I am not utterly and completely at home, buzzing with, mired with, the stench of a life hard won, the only one I'd ever want, never waiting to go to bed, simply dropping where I am and dreaming of nothing. This one's called Mister.
I don't know which one's not yours.
All the barren, dad-aged, walking around, salt and pepper, 40 or 50-somethings, hair thin, a mite less attractive than the profile picture from 1994. Still boys of grunge, wondering where their Princess Peach hopped off to. Long before the beer belly occluded the toes, or the dick for that matter. Calling in from the office and looking, waiting for love to arrive at the doorstep, like an Amazon package, bought and paid for with a declined card, a bank full of money, but an overdrawn account where there should have been a mountain of deep masculine humility, reverent protector, powerfully slipping the shoe onto Cinderella, and instead they will go their toes and ask, how soon is now? Alright, I got a couple more. This one's called Trinity. Hovering above the vastness of the waters, the small girl asked the dragon, may I have 2 sons? 2 is surely better than none. The dragon sighed, a twinkle in her eye. He could not deny the pink puff jacket. Oh yes, dear, and he made them appear. And there were no differences at first. Oh, a brightness, only brightness. But the girl soon noticed a contrast in tone. Yellow-orange or yellow-green. She very much liked to have 2 sons. And the dragon flew through the sky, blind, sunburned, and confused of the time. When to rest, when to cry. Always happy all the time. This is called Flower. Seeds everywhere sprouting. A cottonwood snow coats the ground, rolling round and round. Blossoms on my left finger, and my right growing large, adding color, pink, purple, and green, while there is color all around me, and I'm covered in pollen. Okay, that's my last one. It's called The Same Degree. I wish Carlos Prates had won. Over Ian Gary, cuckold. They are the same degree apart, square, perfectly square, between the 5th and the 8th. And Ian Gary shares his lady, my meatless diet, and my birthday, the 17th. Carlos, chain-smoking, mama said, fighting nerd, only to have the fire splashed out, one drip of rain at a time. Confusing, maybe he'd never been approached like that before. An evading, self-protecting, self-defending avoidance to win the fight. By being unwilling to fight, only roaring up at the end. Water running out, started boiling, bloodied. Maybe if there was more time, he could have finished what he started, late. Or maybe I shouldn't have bet against the man with my birthday. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, keep rolling, yeah. Daryl is next. Our touring poet. This was kind of built around the next two guys this whole night.
No pressure.
Do you have enough light?
That's
What's up, everybody? How's it going? I was on tour one time, Baton Rouge, and the power went out at the house that we were supposed to play at. We spent the rest of the night looking for a party that would let us play, and by the time we played, we were all like blacked out drunk because it was late as hell, and I'm sure it was horrible. So we played that night somehow. This one is called "And Finally the Night, Part 3. Frustrated and confused, alone in your pursuits, you muttered to yourself. The rules were meant to be broken. But it just seemed like you had been broken by the rules, obsessed with rebellion to the point where it was no longer recognizable where the script ended and the unknown began. On a bridge over a freeway that divided two neighborhoods, you balled your fist and shouted at the moon, "The rules are meant to be broken." And to your surprise, from her slumber, the moon awoke, opening her eyes and staring down at you with a subtlety that formed tsunamis in all the seas. And she spoke. Honey, the rules never even existed. And with that, the barriers of pretension and elitism began to crumble, and the bloated and delusional concepts of success withered in their own internal corrupted logic, and people drew on the walls, and they laughed at the imperfections in their work, and they rushed the galleries, and they tore down the art, and they ate it. And the ghosts that lived in those walls cheered as their labor hadn't been in vain. And there you were, and you were a child, and you entered a crowded room holding a guitar, and you banged your hand down on the strings and screamed at the physical capacity of your young body. And in that room there were members of multiple generations, and they smiled and understood, and you felt accepted. And finally, the thrones and the pedestals were all reclaimed and disassembled into raw materials. And with this new abundance of resources, people made tables and chairs so everyone could sit and work and think. And there you were again. And you looked just like you do now. And for the first time in your whole life, you actually seemed happy. The anguish cries of discontentment are all but a distant memory. The future, a blessing, and the hardships that will come are merely temporary setbacks in a life of endless possibilities. This next one is called For Johnny and Nehemias. This is the wedding present I never got you. If you have gay men in your life boosting you, you have everything. Somewhere behind every outgoing, accomplished person is a loud, horny, gay cheerleader. Someone I met recently transposed the confidence that I was giving off to a younger me, and I had to correct them. I am not now who I was then. And the only difference I could really ascertain, other than my age, is the amount of loud, horny, gay cheerleaders that I now have in my life, and their tireless boosting. Beautiful hairy men, unafraid to express themselves, inspiring me to express myself. When I was a teenager, I went to a lecture presented by the Gay Straight Alliance. A speaker said something to the effect of, if no one in your life is out, it doesn't mean you don't know gay people. It means people don't feel comfortable coming out to you. Well, this fucked me up. I had grown up with queer relatives. I had watched my uncle and his boyfriend succumb to a mysterious virus before the age of 10. In memoriam, I attended the AIDS walk every year, and I wore the gear to school, very much to the confusion of my sheltered suburban classmates. Imagine, in the mid-90s, in the devil's armpit of the outer Angelino suburbs, 10 years old with a sweater that read AIDS Walk 94. But then as a teenager, I didn't have this community around me. I felt shame. I felt like I had let my uncle down. Years inevitably go by, and I don't know if I change or the overall culture change, most likely both to various degrees, as that is what happens. But I feel honored and thankful to have so many people of so many identities in my life now. Cherish these horny men. Let them know you appreciate them. And even if you prefer the romantic company of women, just occasionally, send them a picture of your dick. They deserve it. So yeah, we're traveling around. This tour that we're doing is 16 days. I have this 8-part poem in here, and I'm reading one part every day to Norm, so he's going to hear it twice this whole tour. So we're like at the halfway point, so this is poem number 8. So you missed all of it, except the very ending. So it's, if it makes any sense, that's a miracle.
You gotta buy the book to get the rest of it.
Yeah, just reel them in. This is the epic conclusion. Number 8, 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Just a couple hundred years ago, we would have thought that flying was impossible. But, as we've since learned, nothing is impossible. But just because something is possible doesn't mean we have to do it. With every development that brings convenience into a new aspect of our lives, we lose touch with something important. Something we most likely didn't find important until it was lost forever. The transaction at hand is connection in exchange for immediacy. And a lot of that time that we compromise, and a lot of the time what we compromise might very well be worth it, but there's still a special little unmistakable feeling deep down in your heart that you can't ignore. A thirst for hopeless, inefficient adventures into the world and into the mind. Ask the grannies, ask the tourists, the drug-addled kids, the optimistic little girls who embark out into the unknown. We look to the sun as it nears the western range, the bus rolling on, picking up a little more speed every time I send another telepathic message to the driver. Just go a little faster. I'm fucking sick of sitting on this fucking bus. Man, I kind of swore to myself I would never read this again, but I just...
Oh, that sounds good.
Just like
that
it.
sounds good.
I just like it. But if everyone hates it, I will never learn my lesson and not read this poem. It's called Top Fives. I tell you my list of the top 5 worst things I've ever done to another person. You're relatively unfazed because all this shit happened when I was in my teens and 20s, and I think, damn, maybe I actually am growing. It's been over a decade since I've done anything to add to this fucked up list. I'm back at home looking at graphs. I'm plotting the intersection of health and wealth, of a desire to belong and a need to exist outside of one's mind, of human decency and desperation. I'm overlaying transparencies of topographies of different counties and countries, emotional cycles plotted out to establish the reoccurring rhythms of bad habits and trends that always seem to land you right back where you started. This is the math you learn when you wake up on the floor of a garage you rent out to live in Sylmar for $100 a month in 2007. Not bad for a 23-year-old working part-time below minimum wage. Well, then you ask me what the top 5 best things I've ever done for someone are, and I'm like, what? I don't dwell on the good stuff. Well, I guess when I was 17, I was drunk in the middle of the day in San Francisco, and I gave a homeless lady my shoes. It was January 1st, it was cold. I just walked around the rest of the afternoon in filthy wet socks, and we just laughed while we smoked some weed a stranger had given me. This is the thing good people do, right? This is like a thing. Well, I've got the oven crank now. Gas bill be damned. I'm making a pie chart, figuring out the percentages, how much good, how much bad. I'd phone a friend and ask him who I really am, but I'm kind of scared of what they'd even say. The opinion of those who really know you can be a horrifying reality. They know how your pie is cooked. They know that that lady never got warm. They know that you never really even apologized to any of those people you hurt. But they know that you pay it back in other ways. They know that you've been so mad for so long about so much. But what no one expected was that under such an intense hate, it all just kind of burned itself away until there was nothing left except the most pristine vision of the truest form in which you have ever existed. The clarity and commitment of the words you finally found. A promise within a purpose pointing inward. Not bad for a 41-year-old desperately trying to find a reason to believe in themselves again. Alright, so for context, my name is Daryl.
Hi, Daryl.
Good to meet you.
Is there a follow-up?
It will be important.
Like, I'm Daryl and I, like an AA meeting?
We could. We probably very well could. But that'll be important in about 30 seconds. This poem's called Daryl. On the walk from where I work to the restaurant I go to for lunch, there's this dog. They spend their time behind a fence, so I'm not sure what they look like, but they sound small. But this is where it gets kind of weird. Their bark sounds like they're saying, Daryl. Well, it's more like, Bow! Bow! It really feels like they're trying to get my attention. Imagine walking down the street in a residential neighborhood and hearing a small creature on the other side of a wooden fence yell your name over and over and over as you just keep walking, dismissing their existence. There are some days where I'm absolutely certain they're a friend of mine who has time traveled back from the future to warn me of some horrible betrayal, but due to the chaotic nature of time travel has returned in this dog's body, destined to live the rest of their life as this damn dog in this damn backyard. They peer through the wood slates of the fence, see me on my walk, repeatedly screaming my name to the fullest extent of their tiny little lungs, desperately trying to warn me. Bow! 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 But I just walk on, once again, hearing them yet ignoring their pleas, concerned mainly with what I will eat for lunch. The future will have to wait for another day. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks to Jim for freaking opening up your house. Like, that's everything. This is my last one. So yeah, we got these books that we
Buy some books!
we write and release, and you know, we're not very good with the internet, so we figure we might as well just rent a car and drive around and meet people in person.
More fun, isn't it?
You don't have to go to work. It's great. But oh yeah, and James has these photos that are photos from previous tours in these frames that he handmade himself, which he won't like say. So I'm gonna say.
He's humble. He's humble. Eh?
Dumb.
Dumb? Is that what you said? You're dumb. Dumb and humble.
It's a terrible combination. This last one's called Belly Fat. Thanks so much for listening. I share the same shallow thoughts that everyone in this room has, and I am a constant, intensive work in progress. And I believe in so many utopian possibilities for this world that we live in that are nowhere near realistic, which I find endlessly saddening. But when I find myself in these spaces that foster these creative endeavors, those unrealistic possibilities start to feel possible. And so this is how I choose to spend my time that is not stolen by work or sleep, Because this creative connection that we engage in with one another is when I'm closest to the world that I want to live in. Like a lost little bunny in the snow, desperately tracking the scent back to the warmth of my mama's belly fat. And in wallowing fits of hopelessness, I often ask myself, if it's all just so temporary, why do I even keep at this? Well, I find a new answer every night. Thank you. James Norman, everybody.
All right. Before I start, I got a little thought experiment, a little workout exercise to get your imagination working. Imagine you're a 14-year-old boy stuck in that delicate age of masculinity between the point where you know anything about yourself and you're trying very hard to act tough, but you're not. You know, you're mostly scared of things, and you're in that like goblin-esque post-middle school age. When you finally manage to score a date, that girl in class, she's a sweetheart, and all you want to do is go down to like the McDonald's and have your double quarter pounder, and all this goes swimmingly. It's just so perfect. And at the very end of the night, you walk. We're going to set this in the Midwest, and they've got one of those famous Midwestern porches. And you walk up, and who is sitting on the porch with their arms folded? But there's all swagger. And you think, I'm never going to date again for the rest of my life. All right. This is guy Jim Harrison. I love him. He's my favorite writer. Another 90s reference. But he wrote Legends of the Fall, you know, the one where Brad Pitt had long hair but was still shirtless, but it was like in the country in the 1800s or so. I can't remember. But he's a great writer. And he's the only writer I ever know who died at his writing desk. His final poem, you can read, it trails sloppier and sloppier. And the final line of it won't make context. You can go look up the poem, but it's like, you know, man shit his pants and trashed God's body. And I always thought that was one of the most beautiful lines.
It's a great poem.
So this is for Jim Harrison at his desk slumped over. I think, hell, maybe I'll live to be 100. Everyone I have ever known will be dead. All the people left who might decide to care will see a face ravaged by sun, wind, and finally moon. The dark side of a life long scorched by a lightness as fierce as the desert at high noon. They warn you not to stare into the sun. They warn you about blindness. They warn you. And then you stay up all night staring at the moon and go mad. I try to imagine what it feels like to be the only madman with vision in the land of the blind. Don't chase the lights. Don't chase death either. I'll never get as drunk as I did when I was young, as hopeful or as certain. There comes a point where even death stops seeming so important. I think, hell, maybe that last poem, written in a handwriting as gnarled as the bristlecone, maybe that's the one. Maybe that's just how it goes with the delusions of the sensitive and ambitious. Tragedies are only the footnotes to bravery, but to really understand, you have to read the entire body of the text. A 78-year-old man dying alone at a desk so he can wheeze one true line. Just one. At long last. Right as the pen ran out of ink. Did he at least smile before he closed his eyes to sleep? You know how I know the world is beset with progress as much as it is beset with madness and ego and comedy and irony? Because when I first wrote this guy was a pretty popular dude still. This is called Elon Musk Has a Cult.
When was this written?
Right around when he was doing all the silly diving shit. I read the tea leaves. Elon Musk has a cult, and they are all moving to Mars in the next 10 years. because that's the kind of nonsense that cults thrive on. Hopefully the gods are kinder there, though I can't imagine they're sitting around waiting for us with a six-pack in the fridge. A decade is a long time, unless you've already lived it. We have pixelated our landscape within a single century, a quilt of farmlands that even an algorithm couldn't turn into enough food for everybody. Air conditioning is a relatively new invention that we can no longer live without. That is, until we have to live without. And we find out more about ourselves from what we can't control than all our furious attempts at self-determination. Elon Musk has a cult. So what if celebrities always name their kids as if they were an entirely different species? To be so rich is just as unfathomably absurd as to be so poor within the same world. It's an act of balance, injustice. A needle swinging between two poles, clear-cutting all the forest as it vacillates, simply making the space to build parking lots. Parking lots aren't evil. They're just too big for what they accomplish. All those lonely people under bright fluorescent lights preemptively buying the solutions for problems that they are still aspiring to. Elon Musk has a cult. But he'll probably get it syndicated before the backlash. Though controversy's still good for business. We can't buy what we can't remember. People make lists. People make mood boards. People make regularly scheduled bank transfers. I suspect that before they figure out how to colonize Mars, they'll settle on making it the set for a game show. It's less overhead that way. Elon Musk has a cult, though he will just claim it's a reflection of the way the media has knit us all together into one cohesive thoughts and its counterpoints. I can't live in a single mind with the world. I'd rather be wrong sometimes, even if that's alone sometimes. Elon Musk has never been wrong in his life. He has enough money to retroactively scrub his conscience of any past mistakes, and he will not stop. Because he has no incentive to stop. Not until he's planted his dick in the earlobe of the moon, and if you tell him that's not how it's supposed to be done, he'll just pay another fortune to change all the romance novels. In the year 2300, everyone will be walking around wearing each other's dicks like earrings. No one will remember softness was once the tightrope we walked between bodies. The sex drive will be an accessory. And perhaps it already is. Perhaps we are living in a magazine where Elon Musk is the editor, and it doesn't matter if he has taste or not, since people always dress like idiots in cults. It's better to dress like an idiot for fun, or at least to make a statement.
Spelunking?
Here, this around your neck is okay. You just wear it like a necklace.
Love that.
Beautiful.
This has a
I use it for art more than anything.
No. No, someone
It's so
gave it to us,
fitting
yeah.
too. Like you started out with power, and
But
then
what's
you
that you had
to play power to everyone else.
All right. I have these books that I'm reading from for sale over there, and so you should buy them. Lots of them. They make great gifts. And that orange book is all 100-word stories, so it's the world's most perfect toilet tank books. It should come with a fucking toilet tank. This one is called Life in VHS. If you get off I-75 south of Erie Shores, Michigan, where a faded billboard in a cornfield with faded corn begs you to get off, and see Schaefer's Rock Palace and exotic fireworks with 2 X's, then drive past Schaefer's Rock Palace and exotic fireworks, where you aren't going to be that thrilled by the faux rare rocks or the fireworks that are available anywhere now. You'll see another faded billboard. You can see the name Irving because the billboard was custom built by Hickory Hank Mosley to say Irving above the main triangle. Underneath Irving, almost gone, once red, now the palest shade of barely discernible pink, it says Corbels. Next to corbels, there used to be a fantastic illustration of a vampire, but someone cut those two large panels out, presumably to preserve the illustration. Underneath the vampire, it used to say Haunted Mansion. Now it says, in spray paint, Dilapidated Batshit Emporium. It was never a mansion. Irving Corbel's Haunted Mansion was 6 retired semi-trailers with a plywood mansion facade that was supposed to look like a mansion. It kind of looked like the house on the hill above the Bates Motel if John Waters had drawn it in crayon. The facade is gone. Irving sold it to a guy who runs a haunted house outside of Cheyenne, Wyoming. The brush is overgrown around what was once the entrance to the parking lot, and a chain runs the width of the entrance to keep people out. If you get off at the exit and drive past Schaefer's shitty rocks and readily available fireworks and see Irving's old billboard, then the chain blocking the entrance to Irving's old place, pull over, park on the shoulder of Yasner Road, step over the chain, and walk in. Do it. You only have to walk about 40 feet past the chain and you'll see the semi-trailers. Past the trailers, you'll see a really dilapidated old modular home. It has a small porch with bright, fresh yellow and orange flowers that look welcoming, but if you look closer, you'll see one store-bought and one hand-painted sign that say, "Keep out." On the side of one of the trailers are some wooden steps with faux spider webs and realistic but motionless rubber spiders. In the brief heyday of Irving Corbel's Haunted Mansion, visitors paid $5 a ticket to walk up those steps and wander through the connected semis, get frightened by live actors playing classic monsters, and automated frights triggered by levers where patrons step. Irving Corbel would have loved for people to remember that he was corpse number 2 in Revenge of the Swamp Demons, especially because he was the corpse that fell from the loft when the Swamp Demon began to destroy the barn. Irving Corbel would have loved for you to know he did that fall stunt in 2 takes. But no one remembered the movie, though many people who met Irving Corbel politely lied and said they did. Walk up those wooden steps and knock, politely, on the door. Do it. Irving Corbel's Haunted Mansion had one thing that set it apart from all other haunted attractions, and that was ultimately what made the Monroe County Health Department shut it down. When you knock, someone will answer the door. It will either be Vlad, or Murphy, or Ivy. Almost all of Irving Corbel's Haunted Mansion is intact, though Vlad turned the brain lab into a real operable kitchen with a vent. For $10 or whatever you can spare, they'll give you a tour. Some of the levers that trigger the fright still work, and sometimes Murphy wears the old mummy costume because he likes it, and it's pretty warm, and if Vlad is in the right mood, he'll read you some of his goth poetry. And if you don't look like a cop or a dick from the health department, and you're polite, Ivy will take you in trailer number 4, where she has created a bat habitat. Ivy will tell you all about the bats. There are hundreds of them, and she has names for some, and Vlad has written poetry about them. Ivy was 16 years old when they shut down Irving Corbel's Haunted Mansion. They released the bats, but the bats liked it there, especially with no patrons, and they kept coming back. Ivy kept sneaking back in to hang out with the bats, and when she was 18, she moved in. Vlad baked Ivy a cake in the Haunted Mansion Brain Lab kitchen for her 40th birthday. If you ask Ivy about Irving, she'll tell you that she's seen Revenge of the Swamp Demons 415 times, and she always watches it on Irving's birthday. If you ask, Ivy will quietly tell you Irving left us years ago, and you will assume that he died. But Irving didn't die. He lives in the little modular home, and Ivy takes care of him. He's not sure where he is, but he seems happy and content, and he loves it when Ivy brings a bat over to keep him company. Irving spends most of his time in bed because he's 102 years old, and sometimes, out of nowhere, he calls Ivy Susan. Other times he'll hear a noise, like kids lighting off Schaefer's fireworks, or a truck blowing a tire on Yasner Road, and Irving Corbel will say, "Take 2," and roll off the bed. Ivy picks him up and puts him back in bed, worried that the next time Irving is going to break a hip, but he hasn't yet. Ivy thinks Irving might live forever. So get off at that exit and go see Irving Kogel's dilapidated batshit emporium, because Irving might live forever, but you won't. This is relatively new, like a week old, maybe. If I can find it.
Under notes.
I never read from phones. I yell at people for reading from phones, but someone doesn't have a printer or power.
That's my responsibility.
I never take the blame for anything. So.
I realize.
Oh, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna read now. I'm gonna read. This one is called Marinated Antelope. You see him screaming on TikTok, neck veins bulging, sinews in his wrists taut, shaking the printed lyrics to Elevator 19 by Marinated Antelope. Fizz Winston looks like he is trying to have a rational conversation with the man, while Sparky Laffery, the tour manager, holds back Tony Aravan, the oft-intoxicated drummer. The record store meet and greet flares briefly into chaos. The Goo Goo Archway remix of the video has 821 million views. He's known as Mad Dad, Papa Blood Vessel. He's from somewhere in Wisconsin, according to Wikipedia, though that famous first appearance was outside of Chicago. His real name in the wiki is Michael Tashadra. He's not a devout Christian or anything, just a guy who doesn't believe his teenage daughters should be subjected to the subliminal sexuality of Elevator 19. Michael is mad because the band dismissed him, refused to create a dialogue, or stopped playing the song live, he says in the one interview he's granted. He shows up again in Nashville. Again, Fizz, who wrote the lyrics, tries to talk rationally, but the man screams and shakes, and you think Tony might get him this time. Elevator 19's downloads keep rising, surpassing the first single from the Blood Lovely album. Mad Dad really loses it in Sarasota, and the police haul him away. He's charged with disorderly conduct and makes bail immediately, hounded by reporters, civilian influencers, and Shaved Horns, Marinated Antelope's biggest fan group. A van is waiting to pick up Michael Tashadra. You're watching live now because Mad Dad, Papa Blood Vessel, is such a big story, dozens of people are streaming the story. The van looks too clean, too something. Why would a dad from Wisconsin have a van like that in Sarasota, Florida? The minute you think that you see a hand reach out of the crowd. The audio isn't perfect, but that pop you hear can't be wind. There's a rugby scrum and cops and wailing, and the live stream you're watching goes black. You search for another live stream and find one hyperventilating Shaved Horn about 40 yards from the white van saying, "I think he's dead." You think, with an overflowing cup of cynicism, that the guy's teenage daughters would be better off with some marginally poetic, plausibly smutty lyrics than they would be with a dead dad. You Google the lyrics. You're not a big fan, not even casual, just someone who hears Marinated Antelope songs coming from car windows and ads for some awards show on a network you don't subscribe to. The lyrics are shittier than you thought. The sexual innuendo is just that, innuendo, almost in the scheme of things, not sexual at all. You wonder what would make some guy go slithering off the dock of sanity about them. Then you wonder why a young fan of the band was carrying a gun. You're on the toilet when the cynicism rises over your head, and you think maybe the guy was covering up for his own bad behavior and took it out on a pop band. Then a friend of one of the guy's victims shot him. You decide you're not a cynic, you're a realist. Then you wipe and flush. The story is on the TV now, the 24-hour news you rarely watch because some guy in Texas can eat a cheeseburger and spit it back up whole with the bun barely soggy, and the girl with 3 breasts just landed her first double backflip on her wakeboard, though half the comments claim it's AI. And on the TV, they're saying Mad Dad, Papa Blood Vessel, the prude dude is gonna live. And they're saying that his name is not Michael Teshadra. His name is Felix Bellamon. They show Felix without the prosthetic makeup and say that he's a character actor from Van Nuys, employed by the management of Marinated Antelope as a publicity stunt. A very, very successful publicity stunt. Unless your name is Felix Bellamon and they're pulling a bullet out of you at Manatee Memorial Hospital, or your name is Caden Grubert and you're about to do 15 plus years for shooting one of the millions of people in the world who aren't who they claim to be. Okay, I'm gonna read Castle's last. This, Jeremy, are you still there? Yeah. I keep my promises, even though it wasn't really a promise. Do you remember the Facebook conversation? Jeremy said he was going to cancel if Jim didn't have snacks. And I made Jeremy a promise. And here is that promise. It's in the corner of the party store cooler, next to the habanero vanilla coffee creamer that expired last week. Its presence in the cooler indicates it really has dairy products in it, though by now you'd figure they could synthesize that with some chemical that gives you stage 3 tear duct cancer. It loudly proclaims, in sun-faded green, French onion dip. French onion dip. We just accept it. It's French onion dip. There's nothing in this party store that comes from France. The champagne in this party store comes from a factory in Allen Park, the same place that makes Brass Monkey. French onion dip. I have friends that are in bands that tour Europe. I have heard amazing stories like the Iceland Hells Angels have really good cocaine. And I once got fellatio from a burro on a hill in a vineyard in Portugal. And we accidentally burned down the hostel in Sicily. I have never once ever heard someone say, "My solemn brethren, we were in Paris and the onion dip brought me to orgasm." No one, Jimmy, but the French should make onion dip. It would be an abomination, but we accept it because we are Americans, and we will nod politely and let the company that gave us the most boring roller coaster in the world, Space Mountain, shovel feed us so many Star Wars side projects that eventually we're going to get Mike Patton as R2-D2 in 3D. We will let Denny's slap strawberries on waffles and tell us that it's Belgian. And we will buy an 18-gallon bag of rippled provolone garlic movie theater butter and chipotle chips and say, "That's not enough. I need to dip these things in something white and congealed and oozing European romance. I need this chip to have a puddle of artery-clogging mother-of-pearl goo. And I need to believe, deep down, it's from somewhere special, somewhere other than Allen Park."
Before you sing.